All right, let's get back to neither Roll20 nor Fantasy Grounds. Let's get back to the least efficient possible way to play D&D online.
Hey man,
I would go nuts playing this version of D&D if I couldn't like mouse over all the things and add them up automatically. And in fact, I did do that when I was playing Eldov.
What do you do in real life when you have, like, if you're playing at an actual table and you have to roll, like, 8d6 for a spell?
It's genuine, like, I have genuinely been like, man, it is really annoying counting all these dice.
I left the dog out and it was good again. Hold on, I have to go. He stopped being good.
Okay.
Oh.
Especially when it's not you who rolled the dice, and you have to sit there and wait for someone who, like, as you stare at them, you wonder if they ever graduated elementary school. Because they're just having such a difficulty counting their sneak attack dice.
You just want to yell at them, like, just set the 10s aside, like, counting 10s.
There we go. Here's my 66 sneak attack.
Put them next to each other. That's a 10.
Here's my 66 sneak attack right here.
Yeah, you build 10s. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Put them together
10.
into a cube train. Common Core.
Oh, Common Core. Ugh.
Okay, 19 damage. There we go. 19 damage sneak attack. Boom.
Good job.
Too bad you're not a rogue.
Tabletop simulator, because it's virtual, but it's tabletop.
So that's... I play Gloomhaven, which is a very complicated board game.
Yeah.
There are like 3 to 4 pieces of it, which I run on an assistant. Because I enjoy playing the actual board game with all the pieces and stuff, but all the math and stuff I sideload to a tablet.
How many players do you have in that game?
4.
Yeah, I've heard you don't play Gloomhaven with more than 3 if you don't do something like that.
It's perfectly fine with a tablet. Like, it's great. You just, like, it automates all the monster decks for you, so, like, when you draw a card, like, it just adds it automatically to their description. It's awesome.
Isn't there a Steam version of Gloomhaven?
Yeah, but that's, like, it's weird. It's not the board game. Or it is the board game, but it's, like, a weird subset of it.
Well, given the size of Gloomhaven, make
Anyway.
subsets and still have full games.
I think Destil has suitably dogged.
Sorry, apparently a car drove past.
That'll teach them.
Yeah.
My wife is considering moving to Boston for professional reasons. Like, this dog is not going to live in an apartment in a real city without barking 26 hours a day. This dog is going to get sent to live with one of our parents.
Maybe he'll underflow and become a good dog.
I think that's
what I do to Kane's dog. Like, you pick him up and he just starts wriggling, and then he just doesn't know how to deal with the sensation of being held, so he becomes a good dog.
Edgar used to be a good dog when he was a puppy. We lived in an apartment where we let him out on the balcony, and the balcony faced the main road of our apartment complex. Lots of traffic back and forth, lots of people walking back and forth. He would go out there, he'd bark at people, he'd be happy. When we moved into another apartment, McDohl, you've been to this apartment. It's the one... still had a second floor balcony, but now it faced just nothing. There was nothing there.
The woods, yeah.
Just the back fence of the complex. And just the solitude drove him crazy. Just the silence, and he was never good again. And he hated everything about life.
This dog is really good if we go to Erica's parents in the middle of nowhere. So I think we might just send him there. Or my parents need a dog because their dog died recently, so...
Aww.
Replacement dog.
Yeah, he'd be a good replacement dog.
Rudy is a replacement dog. You guys reconvene in the chapel after your various adventures in the early afternoon. Having moved all of your equipment inside the curtain wall and having met with the necromancer and talked to Venison Jerky.
That was exciting.
Oh, I wanted to crack a speaks with jerky joke. Totally forgot to.
I speak with jerks every day.
So, Birdie's gonna be like, Red, I still kind of up on the fence on whether or not the undeath, like bringing people back from undeath thing is... I don't feel like I got a straight answer.
Wendy kind of like waves her hand back and forth, just like, and like essentially runs down the gist of it, and then just goes, so I don't know, like they seem kind of like vaguely connected, but
like,
they don't seem to mind it.
Also, it's like vaguely that it's like an echo, maybe. Like,
Yeah, like it might just like it's definitely dialing home a little bit, but only like a little bit. It's very odd.
Do you explain how how the presence was forced to answer your questions? Do you share your insight into that?
Oh, I share the whole thing. But I also
Raazu...
share the fact that I asked it if it minded being forced to answer the questions, and it wasn't able to really respond to that because it didn't really care. Because that was my very next question: was do you not like being asked the questions? Well, and it was just like, eh.
I mean,
you're questioning the spirit of an animal that only considers its where its next meal is coming from and how to propagate its number.
But more specifically, it was almost like I was questioning the animal back then. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was very odd. Like, basically what I'm saying is, results inconclusive. Need to ask something smarter.
It was almost...
Hashtag it's complicated.
It's almost like somebody slammed their face into some mud and Wendy was talking to the imprint of the face in the mud.
Sure. Like,
that's
that's
literally the best description I've ever heard of the Speak with Dead spell. I'm going to use that description from now until the rest of time, because that was an excellent way to put it.
That's actually really good, yeah.
That was deep. Wow.
I thought I was making a dumb joke, but okay.
No, that's real good.
Yeah, you were accidentally very insightful.
I guess we'll keep you around for the next campaign, sure.
I wouldn't go that far.
So, right, we got the sticks across the gap.
Yeah, we did.
Like
that.
There's a big old metal plate in the ground, though.
Yeah, if you recall, the entire courtyard, there's a large circular metal... Actually, a series of metal plates that overlap here and there. More like... If you were to rake all the snow out of the way, it'll almost look scaled, in a way. Kind of in a circular pattern out from the tree. So the soil around and underneath the tree's shadow is not accessible.
And the method that was described is it has to be in a specific place that's in a specific pattern that's within where that metal plated ring would be.
Right. Adrex and Birdie were taught a ritual involving taking these wooden rods and affixing them in this arcane pattern.
So it looks like this was set up just to foil this specific plan of Breniar's, which gives me pause.
Birdie says, to be fair, it is an evil undead sorceress from before memorial history who will probably try to kill everybody around her, and Adrex wants to make friends with her. So,
but on the other hand, the people who were trying to prevent us from summoning it back from the dead were humans, and they wouldn't let us summon Raazu back from the dead either because she's an evil abomination. So I'm just saying I don't trust her judgment.
I mean...
Thank you, Wendy.
You're welcome. Birdie just comfortingly pats Raazu on the hand.
So
don't touch
necromancy is about giving life?
No, that part just sounded like...
Okay.
That part sounded like a line. Like he was trying to sell me on necromancy.
Yeah,
I think
every time I sleep with an elf, I'm not performing necromancy. That's silly.
So,
Birdie,
there's this locked door in the chapel that you now have a key to that goes to a magic thing that you guys were real interested in.
Yes.
Like 20 minutes ago.
Like during this conversation, Birdie has
Rico,
gone.
This is exactly what being with this party is like for Raazu. Raazu is like she wants to be on task, and she is trying to keep everyone on task. But no, there's something shiny we need to talk about for 20 minutes.
So while this conversation has gone on, Birdie slipped away and has already opened the door.
Opening the door.
Did you steal the key ring off my belt?
You mean belts?
Oh, right.
I'm going to need to see that pickpocket roll.
I mean, I'll try, and then if I get caught, I'll just, like... Okay, hold on. Alright, that's just a 20.
Just a 20.
That does not beat my passive perception.
Hold on. Let me verify. So that'd be a 10 plus my sleight of hand. 25.
Oh, that might do it. Well, let me see here. Yeah, I've only got a 24 passive perception.
Okay, I'll just take that one key. I'll leave the other keys there.
You can't. They're all
Okay.
fixed to the key ring.
They're all on one ring, yeah.
I can't. Okay, well, I'll just take the whole thing and just open the door.
Birdie, are you trained in religion?
No.
No. Opening this tiny little space. The first thing that strikes you is the brightness of it. There's something very, very bright in this room, glowing on the floor. And you kind of have to squint your eyes for a moment to let your eyes adjust. Because even though it's midday, it's still very gloomy inside. You're in a room in the keep that doesn't have any outward-facing windows. And you have no other light source.
Also, sunlight sensitivity.
And this is definitely sunlight. This is not false lights. Bolted to the floor here, you see a large white, just looks like a circle. And you recall, high up on the temple wall here was a large circular recess. And looking at this thing, it looks like about the same size and shape. And the whole thing is illuminated with bright light. And you realize the glow is coming from above. And looking in the ceiling of this little cubbyhole, there's a glass lens set into the ceiling through which the sunlight is being focused on this white circle in the floor.
Huh.
Around this lens, you see mirrors affixed. And each one has little hinges so they could be adjusted. And they're pointed in such a way that all of the light coming through this tiny lens is focused directly onto the center point of this white circle. And it's not just the natural reflection of the light. It's almost as though this thing drinks light and holds onto it. And right now is pretty much midday. It is essentially the brightest point of the day. The sun would be directly overhead, pouring all of its glow into it at one time.
Okay. Well, we weren't really given instructions. Does it look like there's a spot where things would be laid down?
This circle on the floor is definitely big enough to lay, it's big enough that you could lay down on it.
I don't want to do that.
Let's just plug Birdie into the magic machine and see what happens.
Birdie puts the spellstone of race dead in there.
You just reach out and set it on the circle.
Yep, underneath the light.
And it is noticeably warm on the back of your hand and up your arm as you reach out and set it down. And you leave the spellstone bathed in light.
I'm just watching it.
Okay.
So how long until everybody notices that I'm not there?
I'm assuming
Probably about
2-3
couple
hours.
of minutes.
2-3 hours.
I would say a couple of minutes before. Where the hell did Birdie go?
This is what happens when we roll into the, 60th session of a campaign with this group, is every single scene very quickly devolves into just philosophical debate.
Where did Birdie go?
It's like, oh no. It's like, wait a minute. It's like the whole thing with Silence and a toddler being very suspicious.
Yes, that's exactly what Raazu's got right now. Is she's got that? Where the fuck did Birdie go?
I mean, like Birdie's just going to watch it for a couple of seconds and then gonna switch out one of his wands, probably the wand to create water.
Hey, and you set the wand out there instead?
Is there any visual indication of anything happening?
Nope.
Birdie's going to put his wand up and step into the light himself and kind of just look straight up.
And looks straight up. Make a Constitution saving throw.
No, not.
Trundles over
Nice
just
job.
in time as Birdie does this.
Oh, okay. 16.
16.
Mr. Eclipse.
You look
Yeah.
straight up, and immediately you have to reach up and rub your eyes, and you shut them very tightly as you just feel the sun overwhelm you. This is shock to your system, but you aren't blinded by it.
Oh, okay. Do I feel any different?
Yeah, you feel like you just look directly into the sun.
No, I mean,
through a very powerful lens.
No, I
Hey,
mean, just
Birdie.
Birdie, are you a magic item now? Can I use you? What do you do? Are you a flaming
Didn't
weapon?
we hear that whatever it does at noon?
Try the Legend Lore stone on him.
she's already done that.
There is no way that Birdie is of legendary importance.
You've already done that to me.
On the contrary, I think he was, because you got results from that spell, remember?
Yeah.
It's just shared.
Birdie tosses Red the keys, by the way.
Oh, that's disconcerting.
Thank you.
Is there anything I can do to give him disadvantage on that sleight of hand check to steal them?
You could physically attach them to you somehow.
I mean, I thought I had done that when I had them on my belt, but...
Raazu presents manacles.
That's a little cumbersome.
No, for Birdie.
They don't fit. I'm too small. Okay, so Raazu goes. I need to get some special like Raazu.
I need to tie Birdie up and drop him in the ocean or something. It's the only way.
You leave him in the sunlight and he'll turn into a magic item.
I'm still standing in the sunlight, just kind of with both my arms out, like this, like just above my head.
The way that we can't see because there's no goddamn cameras.
Yeah, I know. I said with above my head, out above my head, kind of like in a Y pattern.
I seem to remember someone telling us that whatever happens at noon.
I thought it was noonish. Midday.
It's noonish. It's midday.
Yeah.
Like precisely at noon, though. Try putting it down and then leaving it there for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put
maybe
the
that legend lore
spellstone.
Because we used that already, didn't we?
No, that recharges on its own. I don't need to. We don't have to.
I'm just gonna put the spellstone of Raised Dead down there and just kind of close the door behind me.
Isn't that thing broken?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if it fixes.
Yeah, Raazu opens the door, goes and snatches it back up.
That's something that makes sense. Like,
I don't like the idea of putting something that's broken in this thing.
Okay, so do you want to do something? You want like most useful or least useful item? Like, what do you want me to try here? Because I have these.
I just want you to use something that makes sense. Like,
okay, I'll put the wand to detect magic in there.
Okay. And you reach out and you set it on the center of this large wooden disc, or I'm sorry, this large white disc.
That sounds good. Good thinking.
I guess we just leave it be then. Is that what?
For a little bit, until we're sure that it got some sun. I don't know.
Or
do we eat the mushrooms and gain battery charge? Is that what happens?
That's ridiculous.
All magic is secretly plant life.
So what are we gonna do about the giant metal plate under the lich tree?
Yeah,
Birdie digs out in digs through his pack while you're talking and pulls out his crowbar and says, "Here."
Birdie, it's going to take a little more than that.
Birdie digs in his pack and hands Raazu his shovel and says, "Here."
Raazu lets it drop to the floor.
So what exactly would we have to do with the sticks? Do they have to be in the ground at a certain depth, or is the place just prevent us from standing them up?
So, part of the ritual.
So the problem is we have something stapled down to the ground out there, like a big metal object. If only we knew someone with a line on some kind of large undead creature that could pry it off.
I mean...
I think that's going to have to be under Daedra Daya's approval.
Hey, Birdie is opening this door, by the way, with his cheat sheet.
Okay. And it opens into...
instantly, no save.
My revealer has stopped working.
No longer a revealer.
It's much less revealy than it was. And it opens into the base of a tower.
Okay.
Tower going up or down?
Up.
Up.
Towers can go down.
I assume it goes to the roof of this building where those other ballistas and...
Yeah, there's 2 ballista up here, aren't there?
Yeah.
Let's go up and hopefully not get attacked by the stupid specters for once.
Would it be rude if we broke them?
The ballista?
Yeah.
Probably. It would definitely be rude. I mean, that's not even a question. It's a question of would it be...
Is it practical?
Right.
Here's the thing:
would it cause her to lash out?
We are still ostensibly guests, and to break her stuff as guests would be a serious faux pas.
Oh, you know what? We never heard if we've actually broken something beyond repair yet.
Birdie, no, stop it, please, for the love of Osprey, knock it off.
I took that as a challenge.
And you didn't need to do that.
So are we heading up to the roof here?
Yes.
You aren't the boss of me.
Still don't know
Okay.
command word.
Breaking something beyond repair just reveals a lacking of intuition on what you should be using it for.
Thank you, Wendy, for at least acting toward my ends. In the same general direction, that is.
The tower goes up to the second floor here.
If you squint, maybe. I mean, I'm gonna keep going up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Up and up.
I mean, might as well use this moment to fully explore the castle, right? While we're not
I'm
being
with you.
constantly harassed and breathed upon, breathed upon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Birdie.
And it continues to go up to the third floor.
Up and up.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, maybe we can find something about the command word up here.
And it opens up to the roof of the keep. You come up these stairs here.
Birdie very carefully sticks his head up, looks left to the right, and then waits to get electrocuted.
Yeah,
And
the Cloak
nothing
Boys
happens.
in evidence.
Okay. Well then
Let me see.
So we haven't harassed any of the Cloak Boys here in the keep itself.
You do not see any cloak boys whatsoever on your journey up the tower. There is... The highest point of the roof is the center room, which Red is now standing outside of.
Is this door locked?
It's not, no.
All right, let's open it.
Didn't even check for traps.
Now you save dexterity.
Okay. And it opens into what looks like just a rectangular staging room, a place where you would gather troops in order to give them orders, perhaps, when they come out to withstand a siege, the men who would work the catapults and the ballista. For there are indeed 2 of the lightning ballistas here, and 2 very large catapults.
Are they just normal catapults?
It's an excellent question, and of course they are not.
Is this door closed? The one going down?
It is, yes, and that one is locked and sealed. So, next to each of these catapults, in the ground, is a small trap door. To find these, you kind of have to brush the snow away from them a little bit. The catapults themselves look fairly standard. It looks like you would tie them down with a rope. You'd place something in the basin, and you would cut the rope and send it flying. They're all sitting on a large round platform with handles coming off either side that with considerable strength might be turnable, although not as quickly as the ballista are able to be turned.
So you said there's a trap door?
Yes, next to each of the catapults, there's a small trap door set into the stone of the roof.
Well, Birdie's going to be trying to get into the trap door while Red's doing whatever he's doing.
Okay, you pull one open, and inside is just a small cubby space containing 3 small wicker balls.
How small?
Maybe the size of a baseball.
Birdie is pocketing these balls and not saying anything.
Okay. You do that.
Yep. And there you go.
Correspondence. Damn it.
The balls explode.
Balls explode.
And you find 3 more inside of a small cubby space next to this catapult as well.
Okay, and I'm just going to spread them out on the ground and look at them.
And you do.
And then,
Raazu comes around the corner at this point. Sees what Birdie's looking at, and looks to the catapults. I wonder. You think maybe that the ballista are magical? You think these catapults are magical too?
I mean, they might just shoot something magical, namely small balls that kill.
Well,
are they like
thinking of it
pots?
as a? Well, I mean, thinking of it as a like normally with something like this, you would coat it in pitch or something like that, light it on fire, and launch it. Wonder if maybe this is the same kind of thing.
Birdie grabs one of the balls, reaches over the side, and just hucks it in the center of the thing as hard as he can.
And it lands in the snow.
Oh.
I'm saying you have to coat it in pitch and light it on fire, Birdie.
I don't have any.
So
pitch.
not if it's magic. Maybe it's already on fire, just magically on fire. Right?
Are you over there on that tower?
Yeah, I flew all the way now.
Does the word from the piece of driftwood work to unseal this door?
Are you trying to unseal it?
Yeah.
Indeed it does. Taking out the driftwood and trying some of the words, eventually it does unseal. The door opens into a small space with stairs going down.
Yep, head down the stairs.
Birdie just keeps one of the balls and leaves the rest alone.
Transactional.
All right, saving floor 4.
I just have one of the mysterious balls.
Which are currently inert.
Nodal.
Yeah?
Nodal why?
Yeah?
Nodal why?
What?
Red.
Mm-hmm.
You come down the stairs into this room here, room number 3. This is a very opulent but very small sleeping chamber. You imagine this would be a place for somebody very important would spend their nights. Somebody far too important to spend time in this chamber during the day. Against the far wall here, you see the 2 arrow loops look out over the yard have been bricked up. So it's completely dark in here except for a little bit of sunlight coming down the stairs past you. And there's a 4-post bed with curtains drawn. And the curtains are made out of the same warming element as you've seen hanging on the walls of this place. The floor here is carpeted with lush, thick, and very vividly colored rugs. And it makes you squint your eyes a few times. It's very unnerving because the small amount of light that's in this room, these colors should not be jumping out at you as much as they are. And you realize you're getting the same sensation from the curtains hanging around the bed. Along this wall is a large... You're not sure what it is. It looks to your eyes like a tapestry at first, but you realize there's no designs on it. It's just, again, this very vividly colored, like a drapery hanging on the wall. No warmth coming off of it, but you see a thick pull cord on one side. Like you can take hold of it and pull it to pull the drapes aside and reveal whatever's beyond. And then you have a door over here that is also sealed.
And there's no one in this room right now?
No, just you.
Aside from me. Can I light a candle?
Yeah.
My pack, does that change? Like, are the colors just incredibly... Because it's weird that I could see some color with my dark vision, so...
The colors come to life in the light of your candle in almost a kaleidoscopic way. It makes you blink a lot. It's very hard to keep focus looking at either the rug or the drapery or the curtains around the bed in this room. It feels almost like these are colors. There's something in them, something sensational that just your biology can't handle, that your eye is just were not meant to see.
I'll blow the candle out, and let's go ahead and pull that drawstring.
Okay. And you pull the drawstring, and very swiftly, all of the color fades from the room in a snap. Looking through the drapery, it's a very beautifully painted landscape scene. But the scene itself is not beautiful. It's just this huge, almost empty plain with dead trees and very little foliage. And in the distance, you see this just crumbling mountain range. Coming into the foreground is a very lazy river that seems almost entirely dried up, and spanning it at one point in the middle is a broken bridge. And everything in this painting is almost impossibly gray. The sky is gray. There's no clouds to hide the sun, but nonetheless, there is no sun. And you realize as you've pulled the string to pull the drapery aside, it's almost like the painting has drank all of the color out of this room. And something about it makes you feel very sad.
Is there a drawstring on the other side to close it?
No, you could just
back and forth?
You can just release this one if you don't tie it off to something.
Okay, I'll let it fall closed and then head back upstairs.
Okay, and as you let it fall, the rug and the bed and the drapery itself, you see the color come back into it, but it's a very lazy, very muted color. More what you would expect to see in very, very dim light. And you head back upstairs?
Yep.
Alright, I will save floor 3. As Red comes back up the stairs and steps back out, everybody but Wendy immediately notices a visual change in him. It seems like he's less there than he was a moment ago. Like someone has gone over him with a gum eraser a little bit. Like his color is a little bit drained. Like somebody has turned the
saturation down?
The saturation, yes. Somebody's turned the saturation knob down on Red.
Raazu steps forward, looks at him with concern. Red, what did you do?
There's a room down there with too much color, and then you pull back a painting of a desolate plain, and then there's not enough color. The painting eats all the color.
I think it might have ate some of your color, because you look like you've... Looks like something... I can't describe it. You don't look the same as you did when you walked in here.
It's not as vibrant.
There, thank you, Adrex.
It's the
vibrant.
Vibrant. Oh.
Like Raazu's given up trying to get Adrex to pay attention.
There wasn't anything in there aside from a very nice looking bed and with there's a post bed with some of those curtains around it.
Did you stab the post bed? Because remember that one post bed that tried to eat me that one time.
I did not stab the bed. No. Is my color coming back?
I don't know. Come out after the light.
It's difficult to say.
Maybe we should leave you in the sunlight room.
Maybe if we give you an hour, and then if it hasn't gotten any better, then we'll be worried.
Then we'll stab the bed.
It's the painting that's the problem.
Stab the painting.
I think fire would work better.
Do I feel any different aside from the color loss? Okay.
No, you feel.
Say we go back down to the bottom of the tower, and then.
Fire's fine. I'm just saying. Like I fought ghosts before. I haven't found something yet. I can't stab.
And what else are you lot doing before this evening?
What else have we not looked at here? I mean, there is the ant keeper, but we haven't had a chance to.
There's another room on the 3rd floor.
Or wherewithal to go.
Or 2nd floor, the floor below us. That we haven't investigated.
This map here, the roof is essentially the 4th floor. The 3rd floor is the highest
the
actual
3rd
floor of the keep.
Yeah. On the 3rd floor, there's a room that we haven't investigated.
Let's go look then.
Okay. And which room is?
Well, not the other bedroom. The one on the, the other side of the room that Red was just in.
This one or this one?
Yeah, there's this one here or this one here.
Yeah, and I'll point out that door should lead to the room with the painting.
Okay. Oh, someone just vanished into the bloobity.
It happens.
Into the ether.
So which door? This one, Raazu? Or this one? This
Well,
one here?
everybody's wandering down to this end for some damn
I was
reason.
thinking this one.
Okay.
Yeah, so Raazu goes to stop it. Make room for Adrex, or make room for Red to do his thing.
Raazu. Looking into this room, it's a plain stone room, totally unadorned. No furniture, no curtains hanging on the walls, no fixtures of any kind. In the center of the room, there's just a plain stone slab that stands maybe 3 feet off the ground. It would be large enough for you and Adrex to kind of lay down on together if you were so inclined. Other than that, the room appears to be empty.
Birdie whispers, "You know what that reminds me of?
What does that remind you of?
Remember that stone slab table they had Red strapped to?"
Yep. Raazu turns around, shuts the door,
Okay.
walks around the other way.
Were there
Over
any
here?
straps?
Somebody's got like a line tool or something that's got just a big old line streak in here.
Destil.
It's purple, which is Destil.
Just been
have,
enjoying
like, a-
the purple.
I don't even
You got
see it.
the measuring thing. Turn the measuring thing on and off.
I
There you go. You got
Tabletop
it.
is hard.
Nailed it.
doesn't show it to me.
Going into
It's
this
gone
room,
now.
this is an empty quarters. Looks like it has not been used in some time. There's a dampness hanging in this room. Like it feels more humid in here, a little bit warmer than even the other warm rooms you've been in. There are 2 empty straw mats. There are several large open trunks that are empty. A good amount of just discarded refuse. And that's it. There's a door that opens up into a closet space in this room as well.
So it's just this is the we found their attic.
I haven't found an attic door yet that I haven't wanted to open.
Raazu sighs and then looks back to the guest chambers we were given. Says, "I'm more than willing to just take it easy until it's time for our meeting with Daedradai again."
Birdie, you're throwing open the closet?
Yep.
All right. Look in the closet. It's mostly empty. One of the shelves has fallen away. But sitting on the floor of the closet, in one of the corners beneath some cobwebs, contains 6 large ceramic jars,
I mean,
stopped with wax and cork.
how similar are these jars to the containers downstairs that contain corpse parts?
Not similar at all. Those were glass jars that you could
How
see
canonic
into.
are these jars?
These are like ceramic. They're opaque. You can't see into them.
You said there's how many of them?
6.
I mean, I'm going to open one of them unless somebody
Birdie.
like, physically
Okay.
stops me.
So you have to
I'm
break
not
the
gonna
seal
stop
in the
there.
jar to get to work this cork. You have to break the wax seal. Is that what you want?
Right. Yeah, I've got a knife. I'm using it. I'm working it in the wax.
You work the cork out, and looking into it, you see some amount of liquid, and you realize with horror it's the same green liquid that you came across in the Yuan-ti labs that created the goo bags.
Oh no! Oh no! Birdie,
I think we found
slams,
those frog monsters room.
Birdie slams the lid down, and then like he's holding it, just holding it shut, and he's like, "Help! Help! Help! Help!
Oh,
Help!
we should have seen this coming. It was damp.
Red!"
Brand has already snatched the jar away from you.
Okay.
Birdie, what did you do?
I didn't do
No,
anything.
Birdie was doing something smart. Now we know. It's better to know than not know.
How many of these jars are there?
6.
Okay.
What did we do last time to actually get rid of the jars? I don't remember.
Took
That
them
was,
underwater and used dragon breath to freeze them.
I thought that just contained them. I thought we worked out something with the Yuan-ti scientists to destroy them.
That's possible.
That's exactly
We
what it
do
was.
have a
Like
cliff.
the aunties. No. No.
No, there might be a river at the base of the cliff.
Why don't we, Red will put it back carefully,
Mm-hmm.
close the door. Does this door lock?
No, it's a closet door.
Does this door lock?
It does, but it wasn't locked when you arrived.
Alright, everybody out of the room. I will use my thieves' tools to jury-rig the lock so that it latches.
Hold on, before we go.
I mean, I do have a charge of Dragon's Breath. We can freeze it in the thing.
All right, hold on.
Trapping the closet. So whoever opens that closet's gonna have a really, really bad day.
Where'd the little girl go?
She's in the room.
Oh, okay.
Like, listen, nobody that can open
really
that.
Cold.
Nobody that's gonna open that closet, it will have good things in mind.
All right, see, I would like to use my thieves' tools to lock this door.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the reverse of the way things normally work, but that's where we are right now.
Okay.
Listen.
Hey, Birdie, you have a knife. Here is a light socket. What do you do?
That's a 20.
Okay, you managed to trip the lock on the door.
I'm sorry, I was not expecting to find the evil green goo bag juice at the edge of the world.
Let's go look at that painting. Birdie, you said there was something under here that felt like you could turn it?
Yeah.
Like there was a handle?
Yeah, Birdie will point out the mechanism that he
Can
found.
I get under there and try and actually rotate it?
So by painting, you mean the window in this room?
Yeah.
Okay, so looking out the window in this room now, I mean, you can see the daylight scene. It's definitely looking out of the actual building. And yeah, it feels like it could turn, but it's going to take considerable strength. It's going to require a strength check.
Adrex!
Yeah, I'll get out of
On
Adrex
it.
as well. Adrex, turn that, maybe...
Turning.
Did Daedra not say that we should not fuck with this window?
She
No,
said
she
you
said
should
don't use the key.
Destroy the keep.
She said don't use the key.
Actually, she just inferred that we shouldn't destroy the key.
Adrex is
Adrex,
ignoring everybody
which
in.
direction are you turning the wheel? Clockwise or counterclockwise?
Let's go clockwise, baby.
Okay, roll a strength check.
Roll for initiative. You all fight a clock.
You guys already did that once this campaign.
We did fight
I'm
a
finding
clock.
a counter clock.
Nope, nope. All right.
It makes me angry that that Brick Road can go. You've already fought the clock this
That is a
campaign.
12 on my strength check, apparently.
12.
Yeah.
And the problem with this wheel is that it hasn't been turned in so long that it feels like it's frozen in place. It's going to take a really good, harsh jerk in one direction or the other to dislodge the ice from the central mechanism.
Can I get under there with Adrex and give him advantage?
Yeah,
Enough
potentially.
Space for two people? Okay.
Adrex, you can make that check again with advantage.
That is a 24.
And you feel the thing jerk loose, and you hear a crack. And the place you hear the crack from is in the window itself. Like the central mechanism from this wheel takes up the same physical space as just the open spot of the window. And you turn it clockwise. And you feel like you can get it going, hand under hand. And then it suddenly stops and snags on something, and you hear a jingle. And you look, and from the cavity that you're turning the wheel, a padlock has fallen with a keyhole.
Ah.
Found the keyhole.
Try turning it the other way.
So does the little dial move it act like it's moving at all, so we know which way to turn it? Because I'm kind of hesitant to put it on the blank spot.
Birdie, you watching the little dial, if he had been successful in turning it before the lock caught, it would have turned over to the blank spot.
Okay, so in the future, if we have to turn it counterclockwise.
Well, what's the other way? What are we
Go
dealing with on the
counterclockwise.
other side?
Yeah, what's the next symbol in the other direction?
A weird-looking tomato.
I don't feel entirely better about that.
I mean,
Well, we can
The,
eat a tomato.
the blank spot seems pretty bad to me.
The blank spot seems pretty nothing to me.
well, considering she said it could.
Yeah,
like,
but I
be
personally
sta-
enjoy being something and not nothing, Wendy.
Would you enjoy being a tomato?
Enjoy might be a strong word. I prefer being something instead of nothing. I've
that-
never been a tomato.
Is that going to be the title of this episode?
Raazu's teeth are grinding right now.
Remember,
we haven't
Daedra Dye's
done anything
exact.
bad yet. Calm down.
Remember, Daedra Dye's exact words were like, "Be careful, you can destabilize the whole castle with this."
But there's a safety key. So as long
And
as you
you're
haven't stolen
fucking
it from
with
me
it!
again.
Why are you fucking with it?
Because otherwise we wouldn't know about the
Adrex,
safety.
so you're turning it
Is it-
counterclockwise?
Does it require
Yeah.
a strength check after we've done that
No,
initial?
you've just
dice?
watched it, so you can turn it
Okay.
fine now. You guys watch as the dial turns, and as it turns to the space with the weird tomato, the first thing that hits you is the warmth pouring through this window. Is such a relief. Like, I live in Florida, so this is not something I ever get to feel. But it's like stepping in from a snowy day into a room where there's been a fire crackling all day. Except the warmth isn't coming from a fire, because suddenly you see the whole world outside of the window rotate until you're no longer looking at the curtain wall outside of Voronokt's Keep. You're looking at a very warm and inviting beach scene.
Yeah, I told you.
And you can't see the water, but you can hear it, and you can smell the scent of the ocean fresh air. And you're looking at what must be the shore of a small island. And you see some vegetation in the distance, and you see trees, bizarre-looking trees that you haven't seen before. And growing on these trees are these large, succulent-looking fruits with a deep orange color that look like weird, misshapen tomatoes.
Does the
Raazu
does
looks
the
at that and then immediately
base of the
starts running
window-
down the stairs.
Okay?
does,
Yeah, Wendy's going with her.
does the base of the window like come across like at the floor level, like at along the sand?
No, not quite. It's coming kind of up to your... It's a very large window, so kind of up to your maybe midsection.
Birdie, if you're going through there, I'm using OA to grab you and tie a rope to you first.
That's fine.
As we pass by the arrow slits going downstairs, are the arrow slits warm as well?
No, the arrow slits, I mean, looking out, you still see the slit of Voronokt Keep outside.
Alright, then Wendy goes back upstairs. That's all she's caring.
Yeah, Raazu
So-
sees that and starts turning it around.
Birdie takes his pack off, but he keeps like a bag, like a small bag, and he ties a rope around it and hands it to Red and Adrex, and he jumps through.
Jumps through. Here's what you guys all see. You guys all see Birdie jump through this window, and it's just like you were watching him jump out a window. And he just lands on the other side of the window, and the rope looks continuous. Birdie, here's what you see. First of all, you're way overdressed. It's sweltering all of a sudden. You're in this bright sunlight, and you're still dressed with like your parka and snowshoes, and
Nah.
you have the rope
Like-
tied around your waist. And looking back, you can't see the window at all. You just see, looking behind you, the beach behind you and the shore, and then just miles and miles of calm ocean just lapping the shore. And the rope extends from your waist to just a point in space and stops.
Well, in for a penny, Birdie's gonna climb one of the trees.
The trees
And
are
then-
much further away than you have rope.
Oh, okay.
You guys
Well, in
have,
that
what,
case-
100 feet of rope?
Yeah, I would probably only tied him off with 50.
Yeah. so-
Yeah, Birdie is going to reach down, grab some of the sand.
Mhm.
Birdie, can you hear me?
Birdie, you cannot hear him.
I don't think he
Okay.
can hear me.
Birdie, and then like he's gonna just reach around. Like, is there anything in the like at my feet besides just sand?
Yeah, some jagged seashells, mostly.
I'm just gonna grab seashells, sand, stuff. Just fill the bag up, and then I'm gonna tug on the rope.
Fill up your little what bag?
Yeah.
Is Birdie right outside the window?
Yeah, he just looks like he just stepped through. He's standing just.
Can I,
before-
well, that's the question. Can I see him?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no, you can't because you have eyes.
Right, so that's
And
my
I
question.
see
Is
him.
there air traveling through the window?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
But yeah, Birdie just tugs on the rope.
Yeah, and you guys feel the
I
tug.
pull you back. I mean, yoink.
So from your perspective in the room, you just there's not even any reason to pull him back through. It doesn't make any
I know,
sense.
that's why I thought it was weird, but he
But
tugged on the rope.
Birdie, from
so
your perspective, I mean,
maybe that's not really Birdie. Maybe that's an illusion and something terrible is happening to Birdie.
you feel like you're just being pulled up into this empty space, and then you very suddenly find yourself back in the cold room of Voronokt Keep.
And Birdie like dumps the sand out on the ground.
And there it
and
is.
the seashells. It's like, so that place is real, but I can't, like, if you go through, you're not coming back unless you got like a rope.
Alright, so let's go.
Wait, you
I'll
could
head
go
out with
back
you, Birdie.
yourself?
No.
No, I'm
We should-
listen.
We should check all the other places first.
I want to
really
try.
want-
Listen, I need to try what those tomatoes look like.
It's like a physical need.
That's fair.
So
Raazu
here's
throws
the
up
thing.
her hand and starts walking back toward the friggin'.
Wait, Raazu, don't go off alone.
Birdie hollers back, "We'll bring you back some."
And Wendy grabs hold of Birdie and says, "Here, this is gonna be my safety kobold."
Safety Kobold. Birdie has never been called that before, and he's a little flattered, so he hops through with you.
Yeah.
Where's
Try
Raazu going?
Back to the
Birdie.
guest quarters.
Okay.
Once you go through, drop something underneath the window, like a dagger or something, and then don't pick it back up. I want to rotate the window later, and then bring it back and see if it comes back to the same place.
I just like that when Red thinks of something disposable, he thinks dagger.
I mean, we've each got what, 2 dozen of the damn things?
I've got a single dagger.
I'll hand you a dagger.
Are we tying Birdie again, and then Birdie and Wendy are going through? Is that what's happening?
Yeah,
Birdie said
Wendy
there
didn't
was
let them
going
untie Birdie.
Wait,
Because Wendy's plan is we send Birdie through, I'm gonna go get some fruit, and then I'll come back to Birdie and climb back up the rope with him.
Okay. So Birdie,
I'm an
and-
anchor.
you and Wendy head back through the window, and Wendy, it's such a relief. Just the warmth coming through this window was one thing, but actually going through it into this bright, open space. And yeah, about a little over 100 feet away as you go in, you find tangles of foliage in the ground. You don't hear any animal life, but you find these trees, and you get these plump, succulent fruits, and you pick a few of them from the lower limbs of this tree.
Wendy stretches her wings out a bit to dry herself off, and then heads back to Birdie.
Birdie's sitting there, like, got his hands over his eyes, like, shielding. He's like, "I hate this."
And very effortlessly, the two of you climb back up the rope and find yourself back in Voronok Keep. Wendy, your hands are... You still have an armload of these succulent, weird tomatoes.
Uh-huh.
How high was the sun over there?
I don't know.
Would it be about midday?
Is it like an orange? Like, does it have a rind?
It has an orange color to it, but no, it's like a tomato. You should be able to just bite into it.
And Wendy bites into it.
Maybe the... Oh, you're also immune to poison, right?
Uh-huh.
And it tastes very, very tart at first, and also very, very juicy, like a tomato would be. Like you've got it running down your face and hand now.
Yeah. It's awesome. I don't know. Wendy kind of tosses it over to Red. By the way, keep in mind, Wendy is not only immune to poison, she also has no need to eat. She only eats because she wants to.
No, it's good. Boy, I don't know if this is going to kill anyone else, though. Like, you and I can eat it, obviously.
Intelligence poisoner's kit check. Or intelligence nature, whichever you want.
I love the idea of a fruit that, like, Red finds delicious, but nobody else can eat because it would just kill them dead.
We already had something like that where we were being fed poison that was delicious.
Right,
That's a poisoner's kit of... I'm proficient in that? Yes.
Well,
So, 17.
17? There's no poison value to this fruit. You couldn't do anything to this, by which you surmise it is safe to eat.
Well, hand it to Adrex.
I'll tell you one thing, breakfast is going to be way better tomorrow.
Adrex, it is like lip puckeringly tart and very, very juicy.
Birdie turns the wheel one more counterclockwise.
Okay, and you watch the indicator in the center. It turns over to the night shield. And Wendy, I mean, all of you feel the wind blowing in. And Wendy, you mostly feel like the wind's coming from... You feel the sensation, like you feel like you want to catch yourself, like you're falling. And the rest of you understand why. The wind is looking downwards, vertically, from several hundred feet in the air, over a bustling city, with very tight cobblestone roads, over like a huge marketplace, with a large fountain in the center of it. And you can't get a good sense for how big the city is because you're not looking at a landscape anymore. You're looking directly down at it. If you were to step through the window here, you'd have a 300-foot drop into the middle of this marketplace.
Is there people?
Oh, yes. Many, many people.
Okay.
What kind of people?
Can I have one of those
Difficult
fruits?
to say from this height, but the way that they're dressed and the warmth they...
No, and you absolutely cannot have a couple
tried
of
to
fruit.
work through that. I tried to just walk past that one.
You absolutely cannot have some of the fruit, Birdie.
the way that people are dressed, it's relatively warm, like maybe early autumn there. It's also midday in this location as well.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Brick Road. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell what they are, but it's not the middle of a forest and it's not the middle of a mountain, so probably safe to say that they're not elves or dwarves. Also, the city itself is much larger with much than you guys are accustomed to here in the far north. It would have to be a southling city of some kind.
Okay.
All right, well, let's wheel back and see if that platinum piece is still there.
Wheeling
You're
back
right, that
to
is less
May-
valuable than a dagger if we can't get it back.
And wheeling back to the weird tomato, looking out, yes, the platinum piece and or dagger that you left behind is still laying in the sand.
Can I?
I'll pop through and grab it.
Okay.
God, it is warm on this side. Well, that beach looks nice, but...
And Wendy looks out and says, well, now how does he get back?
Can I just go... How far of a drop is it?
It's not much of a drop, but when you go through, you have no way to come back once you've gone through the rope. Because you have no way to find the window again from your side.
Can't I just turn around 180 degrees and walk where I came from?
You can, but you'd be walking into the ocean.
And Wendy pokes her head through the hole. Feel real foolish now, don't you?
Huh, I assumed I could just walk back through it.
No, you cannot.
So, for real though, can I have some of that fruit?
You can have the fruit now.
So can I grab onto Wendy's arm and pull myself back in?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and Wendy will
Okay.
drag him through.
And Birdie pockets the fruit.
No, and Wendy sees him pocket the fruit and says, "If you throw that fruit out there, you're going with it."
You wouldn't
So
do
that-
that.
So that blank space.
And
We
Wendy
all know
just
what that
stares
is,
at him.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Birdie's like, I'm like 80% sure you wouldn't do that.
Boy, it was a smart thing to lock that one, isn't it?
Keep
Yeah,
going
but why
down
would
there,
you-
Birdie.
Why would you even have that as a space?
Maybe
That
it
seems
used
like
to
a
be
bad
something else
space.
that broke.
Ooh, what if it goes like
Oh,
at the
maybe.
bottom of the ocean or something?
What if that's like the fundamental build? Like you have to build one of these. You have to start with one of those. Like maybe it powers the rest of them.
What other symbols are there?
The next one, the one you were looking at was the Knight's Shield, opened
Yeah.
up into the city. The next one was a cattail, then a spined circle, then a wave, and then a mushroom, and then the empty space.
I'm curious about that cattail.
So
Let's
I
be
wonder-
real. You're curious about every
Yeah,
single
we're just
one
gonna
of
go
those
Yep.
things.
You're right. And I'm real curious as to whether there's a lock before the nothing on the other side.
okay, so here's the okay, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right.
Right?
I
Yep.
have 5 gold pieces on the mushroom going to the Underdark.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
That's good.
No,
No, I'm not willing to take that bet.
I'll do
let's-
it.
That's what I thought too.
I'm in
So let's
for it.
think of another one. What about the cattail? I have a marsh.
Did Tabashi have a homeland?
Tabashi, I'll
Tabashi-
take that.
They typically come from swamps, but that's not the kind of cattail you're seeing.
No, it's a plant cat.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the plant cattail comes from a marsh.
it does.
Does it?
All right,
Yeah,
I've
so that's
downloaded
why
all
and Winnie's taking the Tabashi only.
and Tabashi City.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm with that.
I'll take that one going to some kind of Yuan-ti city.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that makes sense with the poison and whatnot.
Spin the wheel. Let's see what we got.
Might be a city we've already seen.
Turning to the
Fuck's
cattail,
sake.
most of the
This-
window is taken up by, it looks like it's just sheared into a rock. But at the corners, and it begins seeping into the window, is this fetid and disgusting smelling slimy water. Just begins seeping in at the corners.
And Wendy puts out her hand towards Birdie.
Red will give you 5 gold.
Yeah,
Is it high tide right now? Has anyone kept track?
I am. All right. Turn it back. Turn it back to the island.
Turn it again.
Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have any gold. I have to pay you from the party funds.
Don't worry about it. Let's keep
turning
going.
next to the spined circle. Feels also very, very hot, but a dry heat as you're looking out over a desert scene. And not very far away, like within 30 feet or so, is a small encampment. And by encampment, it looks like a very temporary set of structures, the kinds that like a nomadic tribe would throw up for a short period of time. And you see these tiny humanoids, maybe birdie-sized, and they're wearing white robes with hoods, but poking out of the back of the robes, you see hundreds and hundreds of sharp porcupine-like spines. And these little humanoids are just going about their business. They're watering their animals, they're tending to their encampments. One of them is building a fire. You see some of them balancing large jugs of water on their head from one point to another. And none of them seem like they've noticed you at all.
Birdie sticks his head out the portal and goes, "Ooga booga!"
Okay,
and
roll initiative.
Sticks it back.
We all knew this was coming.
I mean,
Yes, I did.
let's.
Oh, and of course.
I'm just saying, Rickard says they get a surprise round. I'm going to say disagree.
Let's be honest. You give us this thing, we weren't going to just spend the entire back half of the session playing with his nonsense.
Oh, I knew it. I've been waiting for you guys to get to this from the entire adventure.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you're saying this like, oh no, they're wasting all this time. Rickard has been craving as a DM.
I didn't write all this shit so you guys couldn't play with
Yeah.
it. Put it that way.
Raazu is just way too much in my brain right now. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize for that.
So yeah, Adrex, he watches Birdie stick his head in and he makes these ooga booga noises, and all of these creatures hear it, and they suddenly all jump to attention. Several of them snatch up spears, several more snatch up arrows, and they're all looking in the direction of the window very confusedly, because Birdie has... you know what, I'll say on his turn he can duck back into the window. So right now they can all just see his stupid face poking out of the middle of space. Oh, did Birdie win initiative, not Adrex? I thought Adrex was first.
I got a 20.
I also got a 20.
Okay, so yeah, Birdie, you're first. They're all going to throw spears and fire arrows at you.
I mean, Birdie's going to stick his tongue out and then pull his head back in.
Okay. And you see shock go over them like a wave as you vanish into thin air from their perspective. Adrex, what do you do?
I push Birdie back through.
What?
You put an elbow in Birdie's back and he goes tumbling through the window. Birdie, I'll give you...
Wow.
Let's call this in a
Rope
post...
around him, right?
Let's call this in a
Yes.
post-strength
Okay.
check.
Oh.
No,
Clean
that's
up your
fair.
messes.
Oh.
This is a thing. This is a thing.
17.
17?
Oh, that's really good. Oh shit! All right, no, it's
Birdie's fear gives him a strength.
10. 10. Or can I add athletics to that?
No, because you're essentially... You need to grapple him to move him.
All right, then yeah, it's only 10.
Oh, no, yeah, it is athletics then. It's strength athletics.
All right, well that's 20 then.
Is it opposed strength athletics check?
Yes.
Or is it strength versus, because then I still beat him
Because
because
he's literally not grabbing you, he's just elbowing you in, he said. So I'll let you add your athletics as well.
yeah, okay, so my athletics is, so that'd be 17 plus 5, so
Okay.
22.
So you're feeling real smug when you pull yourself back through and you suddenly feel this elbow against your back and you realize Adrex is trying to shove you through the window and you plant your feet to the ground. And no sooner does that happen as this just ream of spears and arrows come flying. And from your perspective, what you see is they come flying directly at you, directly through this window. But as soon as they would hit the pane of the window, they all just vanish. And several of these things are rushing up towards the window with their weapons drawn. Wendy, what are you doing?
When he goes down and turns the wheel to the next position.
Birdie is actually, at this point, he's hitting Adrex with his little fist. Like, what is wrong with you?
And Red, are you
Don't
doing
make
anything?
A mess like that. You
Probably go
scared those
get-
innocent people.
Let's go
And
get
you tried to murder me!
You
Hey,
would have been fine.
Raazu, some of these portals might be dangerous.
And Wendy, as these creatures rush up and are investigating the area very confusedly, you see them vanish. And I need everybody except for Red, because he left the room, to make a strength saving throw.
Oh. Well, I used my good strength saving throw, keeping Adrex from murdering me just now. So
Okay.
that's a 4.
He didn't. He wasn't murdering you. He was putting you in a position to be murdered.
That's a 4. Adrex, how'd you do?
26.
How'd Wendy do?
That's a 20.
20. Birdie, I need you to roll a D8.
Okay.
Don't roll a 1, 2, or 3.
5.
The next scene is a stormy ocean scene. Hurricane force winds and rain start blowing in through the window. And Birdie, you are swept off your feet and slammed into the wall next to you. It's complete kismet that you weren't blown completely down the set of stairs you're standing next to.
Oh.
And yeah, it's an ocean scene, and water comes sloshing in over the pane of the window. And these winds and rain are tearing the room apart at this point.
Turn it.
So, yeah, Wendy's turning the wheel again.
I need a strength check for you to keep your footing while you're doing this.
All right.
Oh.
That's a 12.
A 12. And you try
It's
to
not
get
as good if it's on a save.
You try to get your grip on this wheel, which is slick with water now. And the floor where you're trying to stand is slimy as the sludge from the swamp scene. And this wind, and you just cannot get a grip on the floor or on the wheel, and you slip forward. Raazu, Red pokes his head into the room and says, "Hey."
These portals seem that they could get somewhat dangerous. You might want to.
Raazu is in the middle of packing some of the stuff that the herb that she got from our best friend in the world from into the pipe, and then she sets it aside, rolls her eyes. What the fuck happened?
I mean, you can smoke in that room. It might get put out. There's been a swamp, some little porcupine guys. I don't know what they're on now.
At what point do they hear the screeching?
They get about halfway down the hallway, and this door is blown open, and wind and rain are pouring through.
And that...
Adrex, do you want to try to make that strength check?
What
turn the wheel?
tell you?
Absolutely, I will.
Yeah, go ahead and make that. Looking for a 15.
On the money.
You turn to the mushroom, and the wind and rain suddenly stop. This room that you're standing in now is completely a mess. There's slime on the floor. There's a pile of sand which has been blown across the room. Everything is completely wet. The water is starting to freeze over now because the room itself is very cold. And the scene you're looking at now is very dark. And you are indeed looking at an enormous luminescent canopy of a mushroom forest in the Underdark. And which you're familiar with. You've been across this type of thing before. When you previously traveled through a mushroom forest, you were down at the ground level amongst the stalks. The window now opens up onto the actual caps. And you can see there's been a battle recently. You can smell the blood. You see a humanoid kind of hunched forward, breathing heavily. It looks like nursing a wound on their left arm, sitting with their back to you, but you can see the long silvery hair pouring down the back, telling you that this is almost certainly a drow woman. And she's sitting amidst a bloodied pile of dead beasts.
Wendy shoves 5 gold into Birdie's hands and says, "Okay, we need to get our story straight before Raazu comes through that door."
Right. Nothing happened, you guys.
You guys coming down the hallway, the door blowing open, and then it suddenly stops, and the wind and the rain subside.
Birdie's asking for another piece of fruit again.
Let's do a quick jog.
Can I have one of those pieces of fruit, please?
No.
Oh, come on! It's a drow. It's a drow. She killed all of these people. She probably won't need some. She killed all those beasts. She could do with some vitamin C.
I guess I owe Wendy another 5 gold.
Come on, please.
I'm gonna let Adrex drive you out through that door.
I never asked for anything.
Adrex, pick him up.
And as you guys are watching as you guys are having this argument, discussion, question mark, you see the woman slump forward.
Oh no.
Laying on the mushroom.
Should we actually, like, save her life?
Wendy grabs hold of the roped Birdie. Hops out
the safety kobold.
Raazu steps forward, steps through behind them, already preparing her spare the dying cantrip.
Okay.
Red will yell after you, Raazu, you can't get back without the rope, just so you know.
We got the safety kobold. Everything's fine.
So who all's going through? Birdie, Raazu, and Wendy?
I'm only going through because we need Adrex.
You are the rope.
Yeah.
So Adrex is holding the rope on this side, and Red is standing ready on this side. Okay. And stepping out into the twilight of the Underdark, most of the luminescence is coming from underneath you, because the mushrooms themselves are luminescent, but there are pinpoints of light high above in what must be the underside of the rock, somewhere miles above you, that looks almost like twilight. And you can see now, stepping out of these squishy mushrooms, it's a little difficult to keep your footing. If you step too harshly, your boot will go right into the material of the cap, and you're not sure how thick it is. You're not sure how safe it is. But yes, laying amidst this group of maybe 5 or 6 winged creatures with wicked-looking claws and beaks, all dead now, blood strewn everywhere, is this drow woman. Next to her is laying a heavily bloodied warhammer, and then next to her on the other side is an empty quiver and a broken bow.
Raazu moves with as much urgency as she can to cast Spare the Dying on her.
Okay, and when you get to her, she's breathing, but very erratically.
Okay, she's breathing. That's a good start.
So you're going to stabilize her?
Next action is going to be give her hit points with poultices.
Okay. What are Wendy and Birdie doing while this is happening?
Wendy's mostly just heading over to kind of investigate the area.
I am being a good little safety kobold.
Okay, so Adrex, 2 feet away from you, you can just reach out and give him the world's worst noogie, and there's nothing he can do about it.
How about a Wedgie? That would be fun.
Wendy, just kind of investigating the area. Yeah, it's the canopy of this huge mushroom forest, and it's pretty much the edge of it. It's like if you were to travel, you know how dangerous it was to travel through one of these forests, but it seems like this woman maybe was traveling along the edge of the forest and climbed up into the canopy for safety at night, and then was set upon by these winged creatures. And Raazu, you give her some hit points?
5.
5 hit points. Mm-hmm. The breathing stabilizes and becomes less ragged, and the staunch of blood coming from her arm, where she's been horribly torn by one of these creatures' claws, stops. Scabs over.
Should we take her back with us?
And she moves for a moment, and she puts her hand on the ground and pushes herself up a little bit, still breathing very heavily, as she comes to, and then very quickly whips her head around to look at you, and you see she's holding a stiletto at the ready, breathing very heavily and staring very fiercely at you.
Raazu responds in Undercommon and says, "Spared your life. Are you all right?"
And for a moment, it looks like she's thinking about maybe it's better to just stab this hobgoblin and get it over with. Like she doesn't know what to do. Like she doesn't expect. Like she definitely knew a second ago that she was about to die. She doesn't lower the stiletto, but she responds in Undercommon. She asks if you're one of them.
One of who?
One of whom?
Who sent
Raazu
you?
responds. Just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Birdie hollers in Undercommon, "We came through a magic window."
She looks at Birdie, and you see her eyes widen, and you can see her tracing her view along Birdie's waist to the rope, going up to just the middle of nowhere.
Adrex, hold that rope. Red leaps out with his daggers out.
When this happens, she